Hi, welcome everybody. We are here today, and in honor of International Women's Day, we thought it would be really interesting to just tell a little bit about our stories and how we came to leadership in Coffee Beanery. We do have 4 members of our leadership team, us being 3 of them. So I'm really honored that we have Joanne Shaw, who is the founder and CEO, along with her husband, Julia Shaw, here today. And then Brittan, who is our director of e-commerce. I want to say Brittan Shaw, but it is Brittan Butcher. So Joanne, back in before 1976, when did?
69,
69?
Right? Shaw Services.
Back in 1969, just a minute ago. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started and Coffee Beanery came to fruition?
Sure. Actually, it was 1967.
Oh, okay.
Julius started what's now called today Shaw Services. It's an office coffee service that furnishes coffee to offices and businesses of all kinds. And it still exists. And then in 1975, I decided I would like to open a specialty store where people could enjoy real and good coffee. A lot of the coffee back then was freeze-dried and instant, and it really wasn't that good. Quite frankly, you didn't know what was in it. So we looked for a place to open a store, and there was a regional mall being built in a suburb of Detroit, and we decided that was a good location to open a first store. And so we opened that about a year later. After that, we opened 7 more stores for a total of 8 corporate stores in 9 years. And in 1985, we were approached about somebody owning one of our stores as a franchise. So we started franchising in 1985, and the company has grown considerably since then. And we've added a web-based business, which is doing tremendous. Because of Brittan. Every time I go on our website, I figure I'm really proud of the work that she's done. And also, quite a bit prior to that, because I don't know what year, Lori came on board working with me. And she stayed and has moved up to the COO position, which is a critical position for the company. So we now have at least 3, I think we have 4 women in leadership roles, but 3 of which are new to them. So really proud to be a woman, proud to be a woman-owned and operated business.
Yeah, it's come a long way. It's just interesting. I mean, because you were the first woman chairperson of the IFA. Do you want to tell a little bit about that? I mean, it's hard to imagine now, because women are on boards all across, the world. But a little bit about your experience when you were elected to go into chairperson.
Yes, it's hard to believe that was 22 years ago, in the year 2000. Actually, I opted to do a lot of board work. I was also president of the Specialty Coffee Association before that. And some of it was volunteer. Well, most all of it was volunteer. And when they asked me to go on IFA's board, I was pretty hesitant because I was involved with specialty coffee, and there were no women on the board at the time. So I joined the board, and I served in a leadership role for pretty much every committee that they had: finance, marketing, and I learned a lot. And at one point, they asked me to go into the chairs, which that takes some time to work through. You actually start out, and about 3 or 4 years later, you move up to chairman. And I was the first woman chairman of IFA in the year 2000. I'm really proud to have been that, and really proud to have been offered the opportunity.
And I know just such a mentor to other people too. I've spoken with some women who have since been, right, the chairperson, and you really did pave the way for other women, and that had to be really intimidating. But I just, what a great accomplishment.
Yeah, it was a little intimidating at first. And I really credit the fact that I took a Dale Carnegie course and learned how to communicate with people and how to present to people. I don't believe that, I do believe that if I hadn't done that, I probably would have never gone into that role. It's a tremendous opportunity. And in addition to that, I served on Dale Carnegie's board for 15 years, which was it was a real honor to do that as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, Brittan, you took Dale Carnegie class later, a gift that you gave the kids, which I think you guys benefited so greatly from.
Yeah, I mean, it was life-changing to be able to get up in front of people and feel comfortable. You still get nervous, but to feel comfortable that you can talk about something passionately and, just it's kind of an amazing experience. It's more than a public speaking class. You really learn a lot about yourself, and the group that you do it with becomes a really special part of your life.
I know I was at such a young ages that you guys took it. I mean, fundamentally, to have you guys just understand how insignificant you are in the world, kind of, just in how blessed you've been at such a young age, I think will change your perception for all your life. It was really interesting to watch you guys go through it.
And these people are still my friends on, Facebook, and we still talk, and it's a very special experience.
So that's really neat. So I think it's interesting that both you and I, Joanne, we don't have Harvard business degrees. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So, and we just kind of, made it work. And then you asked me to be your executive secretary. I had 5 little kids at home, and you were going through some transition in the business and wanted someone that you could trust and rely on. And I did that for a summer, and it was honestly too much with the kids. So I started working in the business, but part-time. I do have a teaching degree. I was going to teach from 40 to 50. That was my grand plan in life. And then things just evolved. I started taking over different fundraising and then marketing and then the stores. And I think I don't even know what year, about 8 years ago, I think you moved me into the COO position. And I think it was an interesting move. I think every generation and brings something different. My leadership style, maybe because I'm not traditionally a business person, was just a little bit different. I guess I almost developed my classroom, in collaborative studies. I'm a very good problem solver. So just a little bit different atmosphere. And I'm very fortunate that Joanne and I get to work so closely together, because you have to, for that relationship, have a lot of trust and really be on the same page, but challenge each other too. So it's a different relationship. So I guess I just kind of rebuilt a team. And then Brittan came onto the team.
Yeah, I was in college, and I was working towards my degrees in marketing, international business, and graphic design. And we had, growing up, always been told that we were not allowed to work in the business without going out and getting outside experience first. So we were allowed to work at a store. So I did that through college. I learned a lot and had a lot of fun. And towards the end of my college career, I needed an internship, and somebody had actually just left, and so they had a pretty big hole to fill. So it kind of, worked out for both of us. It was just supposed to be an internship. And
then we never let her leave.
Yeah, at the end of it, I ended up staying, and I'm very blessed to be where I'm at. They give me the opportunity to keep learning and keep growing, and I am doing a role that I could have never dreamed of in college, and I absolutely love it.
Well, and I liked, because on the leader, like, other people pushed you into that role, because I'm, I try to be really careful. My kids have to work in the stores. They have to earn their way up. I didn't want you to put yourself because you've never done the
No.
analytics and stuff of e-commerce, and I wanted you to be successful.
Right.
But they were like, no, Brittan can do this. We're like, okay. But I think that's an undercurrent thread in our company, and really with Joanne's mentorship, that she gives people the chance, even though I didn't go to school I did take some business. I can't say I didn't take business, but I do have a degree, and you'd never really done e-commerce, but really giving people the opportunity to maybe not do it the conventional way, but to be really successful at something, which I think because of your own experience, you did the same thing.
Well,
Right. I only had a high school education. And actually, anytime I've spoken to other women, I tell them never limit yourself. And because you can do so much more than you ever dreamed of. And look at me. It's pure and simple. You just have to want it. You have to work. You have to work hard, but you can never limit yourself.
And I think you have to be willing to learn and be very self-aware and know what you can't do.
Right.
When you get to a point, it's like, I don't know this. I need to find someone on my team that can. Like with Brittan, do you know what I mean? The website, and she took an initiative. She learned coding. She learned how to fulfill by Amazon. She learned so much.
Well, now we're getting to the point where I'm like, okay, this is out of my depth. And we've hired some really, really amazing companies
Partners.
to help us in, certain areas that are just, they're above us, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay to know that. To say, okay, I did what I And I think that's part of building the team. And I know we're really strong on, self-awareness, strengths and weaknesses. We have to be open. And I never realized how vulnerable you have to be in that too, to let people know your strengths and weaknesses. Someone in an interview said, I'm not going to tell you my weaknesses because you might use them against me. And I thought, that never has occurred to any of us, because that's not the world we live in.
Yeah, we know Patty can't do math. We know that I don't write pretty words. We know, we just kind of work together, and we have a great team.
Oh, Alessandra.
I know.
Yeah, that's really sweet. See, good partners, right?
Yeah.
Watch our lives. So just any last thoughts to women, any advice to women in business? Going into business, women in general?
I don't know. I grew up in such a different generation that it's a little bit more difficult for me to see some of the challenge that you guys have gone through. I very rarely experience the boys club mentality anymore. And I think that's a huge blessing, what you guys have done for women in business. And you guys have really put all of this into place so that we can be successful for our generation and the generations to come. So I just really appreciate you guys and the groundwork that you've laid.
And I think my advice kind of would be that there's enough success, there's enough of everything for all women. So I think it's just such a positive thing for women to support each other and to give freely, to mentor women coming up, because it's not a limited, success isn't a limited resource, right? We all can be successful, and building women up and giving them the confidence. Yeah. And, we benefited from, Joanne's wisdom, and I love hearing the stories or some of the challenges, that you've gone through. And so just passing that on to future generations. I think be generous with your life experiences.
Well, and I think that you're absolutely right. And not only don't limit yourself, just have enough moxie to go ahead and try.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. If you don't try, you never know. And then the persistence and the fortitude that you're gonna make it. You're gonna have problems along the way.
Yeah.
We certainly did. It's not an easy path, but you just keep going and going and going. And sometimes the direction changes a little bit, but that's okay. I think in my case, I would want something for the company and it didn't happen. And then I think honestly God intervened and gave me a different direction, and it was a better one.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, keep going.
It is, because business is not for the faint of heart. And anyone who's lived through the challenge of the last 2 years, it's been exemplified, time just over and over with just a lot of the issues people have faced. But we are just so grateful to you, Joanne, and Julius, because this would not have happened without Julius. Without him, he's the practical one, finding the money. Joanne has the vision, and he's, figuring out a way to do it. And quite honestly, thank you for time and time again putting everything on the line. It's a good thing Julius is a gambler, right? Because you put time and time again, you put everything on the line. It was all or nothing. And without that, we wouldn't be here today. And we do so appreciate the opportunity and to be able to just have such an amazing Coffee Beanery family here, and then our customers.
We build a legacy together. How many people get to work with their mom and grandma on a daily basis? It's pretty amazing.
It is pretty special. You've got that trust and loyalty, and just we'll figure it out. We'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, well, happy International Women's Day to all the women out there. And I hope you learned a little bit about us, our stories, and we're a little bit encouraged today. So have a wonderful day.